Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I got it in there. I snuck it in right before the start.
Crusader Kings 3. Okay.
I'm not even sure that's like the darkest, weirdest topic we've gone into. I mean, so I got my Star Trek over here. I got my Animorphs over here. Like, we're good, man. Like, just get into it. So
If you feel like you got too much time on your hands this game, just
nope.
takes it away.
Nope. Yeah, I've already got a monogamous commitment to a game. Thanks. So,
Which game is that?
Destiny. So,
Oh,
it pushes all the right buttons in my brain. That's all that matters. So, yeah.
I've been a dilettante between EU4, Civ 6, City Skylines, a couple others.
Yeah, see, the problem with like the Civ games for me is like we did that as a podcasting group when the other Alex was here, right? And I'd wake up like a day and a half later wondering what happened. So it wasn't so much as like, you know, a monogamous relationship as it was like a weekend in Vegas and just waking up and being like, oh God, what did I do this weekend? You know, I had to stop playing that game.
I made the mistake of buying it on a third platform this last couple of days because I got a work iPad. It's an iPad Pro.
Why would you play something on an iPad?
Because I have it at work.
If he's like, you know, out and about, or like it's pretty easy to sit in the train with your iPad playing Civ. Not as easy sitting with your laptop and playing Civ as it is with an iPad, for example.
Switch or something. It's easier to use the Apple Pencil while holding a baby to go next turn.
Just let the baby make the moves. What's the issue?
They gotta learn, right? You gotta like me when I'm teaching my kids in Crusader King stuff. You know, you gotta get in early.
Right, and Andreas is trying to kill one of his kids, so I mean, you gotta find out now if this one can do it.
I'm just trying to make someone else inherit my kingdom.
Yeah,
because he's got better genes, okay, and that's okay.
Yes, it's absolutely okay. That is a fine argument to make for inheritance.
My roommate came and said, "Let me see your children," because I was doing eugenics, and he's like, "Oh, this guy, he's got 3 really good traits. So if you get that, you can get this cool bloodline thing." He showed me. What was it called? Strengthen the bloodline, and you get a trait called Strong Blood, which apparently is really good.
Typical German mentality.
Yeah, my emergent thought here is thank God that the Germans didn't invent gamification alongside eugenics, because it might have actually caught on, right? You know, they were like, no, you guys don't get it. In like 2 or 3 generations, you'll win. Like the human race, the whole thing.
If you let us do, like, there's achievement points involved, and then it was like, oh shit, you make sense this now. So anyway.
Yeah, I just never want to hear anything about my politics, all right? So
I'm just saying Crusader Kings is more fun than I thought it would be, because I don't usually play slow strategy games. They have to be really fast, and usually has to be PvP, like StarCraft. But I'm actually quite enjoying it.
So it was almost more of a choose your own adventure kind of game.
It's some form of role play sort of thing, so it has that drawing.
Once they lean more into the procedural elements and have a lot more doodads and basically mini games, you could probably pour 100 hours into the base game, but after a while, it gets pretty repetitive. But which is why Paradox has all the as a DLC model, right? It has a very solid core set of mechanics.
The reason I actually originally started playing this game yesterday is because I just finished the latest Joe Abercrombie book. If you guys know him, he wrote it's like the First Law universe. It's grimdark. There's like quite a bit of politics in it and stuff too. And this game would be so good with a mod with that from that universe. Like, it would be insanely fun. Like, I would love to play that. I did see that. I think there's like I think it's a Stormlight mod for it or something.
Sounds weird.
Yeah. So I've been playing Crusader Kings the past couple of days. What have you guys been doing?
Not playing Crusader Kings.
Not watching comedy
Brains-
movies either.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
I
I
watched about an
steadfastly
hour of
refuse
Four
to do
Lions.
homework.
I
Yeah.
still got 2 more weeks.
Exactly.
Yeah, I left once at Four Lions earlier. I was watching it earlier because the family's at the zoo, so I had some time.
Oh, that's
other than
nice
Destiny,
symmetry. 4 lions
right?
and they're at the zoo.
Yeah, that absolutely related if you know anything about the subject material of the movie. So,
I don't, because I haven't watched it.
yeah, right. I was surprised as shit when I put it on, and I was like, "This is not at all what I would have guessed." And
No lions.
it's pretty ridiculous. But other than that,
I
I've been
love it.
brainstorming an Eberron campaign that I can only talk to my wife about it, which is a very weird place to be. So, but yeah.
Oh, I ran the Neverwrong campaign. It didn't last that long though. Only like a couple of months.
I'm trying to plan this for our Saturday group that's been going for like 20 years, and I want it to go the distance because I'm tired. Like our DMs either have real life or a form of ADHD that strikes DMs because none of them can stick with their campaign at the moment. One of them, it's completely understandable because she's been working like 12-hour shifts for like months now because they've been doing a data center migration, and she'll just run like one shots. But then the other guy is like, this sounds fun for like 3 months. And it's like, dude, if you would just focus on your campaign, then we would have something. And finally, I got tired of bitching about it and threw my hat in the ring, or will when we meet up next. But
welcome to the game master side of things. That's the only thing I enjoy.
Yeah, I completely botched it in my early 20s with this group trying to run a Star Wars game that I just didn't keep up the pace on the material. And then now I'm the kind of guy that like tries to outline the entire thing and then, backfill the details as we go. But do what?
Outlines help. Knowing where you're going is kind of important to get started, in my opinion, on anything.
It's very flexible, right? Because you gotta like, if the players make decisions that impact any outline, you gotta take that into account, which gets really.
You ball up the piece of paper and you throw it at them angrily and walk out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. The longest campaign that I did was like a horror campaign, and that was built for new players, so it was absolutely on rails. So there were no decision points, right? It was more like me talking them into the hooks, where it's like, hey, guess what? There's a caravan that needs help. This is your one adventure hook. Maybe you should go do that. And that was a lot of fun. This one's going to give them the chance to do more, open world stuff because it's a much, much more experienced group. But the difference is like the way that I imagine the campaigns when I'm writing them anyway, is that, look, man, though it's Firefly, right? The evil government's out there doing shit. These guys are going to be doing shit. And if you don't handle it, they're going to win by default, right? And so, like, sure, you've got choices and you can go do whatever the fuck. If you decide you want to be pirates in, on the west side of the continent or whatever, then fine. But meanwhile, Sauron has still been massing his army in the east and nobody was there to stop him, so that's not going to be good for everybody else. But that's kind of how I'm approaching it so far anyway. But yeah, like that's a good example. Like imagine a Lord of the Rings one where instead of going to Mordor, Frodo's like, but we want to be farmers. Okay. Generally bad for everybody else, but okay.
Let's get another Hobbit.
Right. Actually, that would be kind of funny. Like play a campaign with Gandalf, like trying to find the chosen one because the first guy turned him down. Like
next Hobbit up.
Shit. Right. Yes, I think we're down.
Toots need not apply.
We're down to the Sackville Bagginses, and they took the ring and left. So now we're really fucked.
That would actually probably work out. I imagine one of those would be similar to Gollum. They would just kind of like sit in a hole and covet it forever.
Right. Yeah. So
do any of your friends ever watch the podcast?
Not really. I've told a bunch of people, and everybody's poked their head in now and again. One of my buddies in Chicago watches the Dresden Files usually, but yeah, that's where it's like I'm being generally vague, and like one of the guys I would normally talk to wants to play, even though he's not really a part of the core group, so I can't even talk to him yet because he's he's got his hopes up that he can join. And I'm like, dude, we've got like 9 people already. Like, I'm not going to say no, but it's probably not going to work out.
4 people.
Yeah.
Then everybody gets to do something in combat. Otherwise, it takes a long time. Like it's like they run into like some roadside bandits, and then 3 hours later, okay, that's the end of the session. See you next week.
Yep. Yeah. Well, we play for like 11 or 12 hours, and we've worked really hard to be disciplined because we added some new players, and it was like that where it was like their turn individually would take like 20 minutes, and it's like we still got to get around the table, so each round takes an hour. In real life, we can't be doing that, so but.
Yeah, I can't, like my friends that I play with, they play other role-playing groups too, and they play, like they're playing right now. They showed up at like 10, and they're gonna play until like 11 or 12 at night. But I got like 4 hours of solid GM in me, and like I'm post.
I definitely hit brain drain where it's like I start forgetting details and stuff. Like one of my favorites was they were going into a house that was basically run by a vampire lord, and he was also being attacked by Inevitable, which is lifted from Eberron, where it basically like this is the creature that is sent out to hunt down people who are cheating death. Type of thing. So of course he's come for the vampire lord who's running around cheating death to give, to soften this guy up for him a little bit and make it a little bit more interesting. But like there was an entire room where this dude's family is holed up, and like all of them are vampires except for the little girl. Right. And I wanted to see what the party's going to do about it. Completely spaced it. And it was meant to be a riff off of like one of my dad's favorite role-playing stories, where it's like they're going to root out the vampires, that are in the area. And basically they're kicking in the door, taking care of all the vampire family members. They kick in the final door, and this little girl spins around and goes, and charges the party. Well, my dad's character is true neutral. He's a fighter rogue. He just plasters her with a crossbow. Well, it turns out she wasn't a vampire. And so they had this lawful good ranger like get up on his face and start giving him a bunch of shit. And it's like, dude, I've kicked in every door, and every single one of these fuckers has been a vampire. And she came at me first. I'm not second guessing nothing. I'm pulling the trigger every time, So I wanted to get something like that in there for the paladin in our party. And yeah. Missed it. So
yeah,
it seems like
great.
I was going to say when you get a group that large, you're really better off doing a non-combat style, like maybe a mutual storytelling system. When we almost go to White Wolf, or even something like Dread, where it's just you're talking with your friends and telling a common story rather than a
I like rolling dice
model. I mean, I would too, just with a group of 9.
Yeah,
no, I wouldn't.
It definitely depends. So, yeah, because you've also got the individuals and what they want out of it, right? So we definitely have a guy that it's like he's only there for the combat. So to have a session without combat is very difficult. We've gotten there in the last couple of years. We finally got him around to where he doesn't always play the barbarian. Sometimes he plays the artificer with an axe or something. But. Yeah, we're about to do like the Marvel's got a new whatever the game system is, but they've got like a brand new thing that came out like a week or 2 ago that they've got a play test for. And I told him to shut up. I'm playing Thor. He can be Hulk or whatever the fuck he wants, but like because he's modeled his characters off of Thor as often as not, But
is it like a video game or a pen and paper game?
It's a pen and paper, and for extra cheese they call it the D616 system because Marvel 616 comic universe, right? So,
well, you could both be 4. One of you just has to be the girl one.
Yeah, I honestly thought about doing that. I thought because we're coming in at rank 10, and the way they talk about the rules, like Thor should be more than that. So I'm like, it'd be hilarious if I came as Jane Foster, like or even Beta Ray Bill or something. Like,
it's just weird to me. You're playing a pen and paper game, and you're all playing already established characters. Instead of your own characters.
I mean, the idea is the archetypes. I don't know if we're going to actually physically be those characters, but yeah. we've got the opportunity to build our own people. But I'm thinking, depending, like I haven't made it through the rule set to build my character, but I'm definitely thinking along those lines. I think it'd be fun. It'd be like, oh, you just get to select a feat that is Mjolnir. Of course, why would I not do that? So
yeah. Don't forget when you GM, steal a lot.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's tricky because the content that I want to talk about is based off of some really well-known horror movies and subjects, but it's also a trigger warning, right? And so it's like I've been noodling how I can discuss this with the party to be like, look, I don't want to misrepresent this. There's going to be body horror, right? But I also don't want you to focus on the fact it's not going to be like Slither. It's not going to be like whatever, but it might be the Thing. And I don't want them, like, saying that much is already too much, because I also want it to be, a mystery, right? They don't know what's going on for all of this time and whatever. But body horror is a real turnoff for some people. So we've got several potentially squeamish girls in the party that I don't want to put in a bad spot or anything. But
Typical females.
It'll be fun. So
I ran a campaign that was like very urban fantasy-esque. Like there was I definitely took some Dresden side plots, kind of like worked in. I did so much from like Buffy and Angel, like for little side missions.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's funny too, because like one of the things that I'm pretty hot on and I've been working on is, saw some old videos of like Fallout 4 with the Brotherhood of Steel, and I'm like, you can do that in Eberron. There's artificers now. The artificers can be running around in power armor. So now I've got like an elite unit of power armor dudes that I've been noodling around, getting the rules done. And I'm like, how's nobody done this? Like maybe somebody has, right? But like, there's no like published material of like, hey, here's an airship full of like shock troopers in power armor in D&D. Like that's awesome. So
did I just hear the switch sound? From someone?
When are you guys booting up?
I heard the switch boot up.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, my brother would do that in our D&D games. It's like, dude, I know what game you're playing. So
what was he playing while you're playing D&D?
Breath of the Wild, I think. So I had just finished and he was just starting. So
your kid's still working his way through Breath?
Yeah, ish. We got him one of the expansions, so he's doing the one-hit takedown thing. Anyway, it's the champion songs is what you're doing. So you got to go find some marker that tells you 3 new shrines to go do, and all of that. So
I still haven't really played it. So, and now I'm hooked on this other game, which apparently sucked 10 hours before I even knew what happened.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, but I'm kind of like you. I kind of have this commitment to an MMO type kind of group play thing, which I need to put time in. So it's sometimes when these other games pull me away, and then it's like, oh, I got these chores I gotta do.
Yeah. You guys are gonna have to jump in, otherwise we're just gonna nerd this whole thing. This is why no topic is dangerous the other way.
I'm fine. I'll take a nap in a few minutes. I'll be good.
Okay, Grandpa. So,
did anyone get to watch Severance yet?
No, but it turns out the wife independently subscribed to Apple TV, so it's now on our list. So, but
out of the blue.
I saw it added to our Roku, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And she's like, so I did a thing, and it's cheaper than Netflix, so there's that.
Does it replace Netflix?
Not so. Part the trap that we're in is that even if we want to cut the string for Netflix, we got to figure out a different way to distract the kids, because a lot of their shows are on Netflix, and so that's what's really got us on the hook right now. So once it becomes too right, once it becomes too like much of a hassle for that, then but Netflix has all of these like imported ripoffs of like Power Rangers and Pokemon and just whatever else that the kids really get into. For some,
they also have the original ones too.
They also actually have
they do, but yeah. I actually started with the big one. Started him through the original Pokemon cartoon, but it didn't hook him like what's the other one? Dinosaur King, I think, is the one where it's like if you had what was the Digimon, right? So you had Digimon and Pokemon had a baby with dinosaurs. Pokemon. I liked it. I liked the monsters were way cooler and
I don't know.
Big explosions before I realized, hey, guess what? Big explosions have secondary effects that are problematic. So
no, not in kid shows. It's fine.
Yeah, right. Well, like the Mega Evolve things, like you Mega Evolve Gengar, and he's the size of a continent, and you're still fighting on a 100 by 150 map.
Also, he's a dead Pokemon, so the implications of that, enjoy.
Right.
Well, wasn't like Marowak or Cubone? Yeah. Marowak, right? Marowak was the ghost always, but then it's like you just find him in every Pokemon game now.
Right.
I don't think anyone got me. Digimon didn't get me as Pokemon did, but that might be because what people in my school were into, friends went to, like the trading card games. Those old Pokemon. We were playing the Game Boys, and like Digimon didn't catch on in the same way.
Yeah.
I like Digimon, I think, a little more. I didn't like that they all ended in Mon. That was just stupid to me. But...
Well, because Monster. So
right.
Yes. Yeah. Pocket Monster, Digital Monster.
Well,
Pocket Monster.
Pokemon managed to not do that.
Pocket Monster and then rip off.
It wasn't rip off. It was a computer version. Pokemon was the animals running in the wild. These were just the binary code, and then somehow came into the real world.
It's anime. Do we really want to quibble about like which the original is? Like which was the original giant robot fighting cartoon? So
wasn't Pokemon kind of like its own kind of thing? I mean, I guess there's only a year between Digimon and Pokemon, but Pokemon did come first. And
yeah, so you are calling it Digimon, right?
What the fuck is Digimon?
Well,
Digimon.
You see,
Pokemon
the inventor
Digimon.
of the GIF, he came up with this Digimon show that would showcase the art form technology format that he came up with. Just seriously, it's Digital Monster. It's Digimon. I think they even say it in the show, right? Like unless you're watching it in Japanese, like
they say
the song of it.
Digimon.
Come on, sing it. I
yeah.
know you know it.
Digimon. That's
getting diggy with it.
In these monsters.
Oh man, I'm not going to argue with something that I haven't followed in like 20 years, but that's hilarious.
No, I am.
Of course you are.
If it's right, it's right. The Digimon movie was
pronunciation.
To this day, my father says it's the best movie he's ever fallen asleep to when we were kids. and he took us to the theater and he fell asleep during it, and it was the best nap he ever had. Was the Digimon movie?
The Digimon movie? I'm not even sure I've seen the Digimon movie.
I remember begging my dad to let us go to the Pokemon movie when that came out.
Mm-hmm. I was taken to see the Pokemon.
Oh, I didn't have to beg. It was we're going to the Pokemon movie.
Right.
Because your kid with Pokemon, and this is an obvious thing to do.
Yeah.
It was going back multiple times to the cards that maybe you had to beg for. Because the early part of that was, I think the first movie was there were 4 cards you could get, like it was fucking Burger King.
So Ben, you've got a little girl, right?
I do.
I hope you've made peace with all the Disney movies and digital.
We are never watching Frozen. She will never know Frozen exists.
Sure, my dude.
Frozen.
Like, are we gonna take a bet? Like, is she going to public school? Because when everybody shows up in Elsa gear, like
when my sister was born, my stepmom said, "We're not gonna let her see any of the Disney princesses. I don't want her to be all princessy." And by the time that she was 4, she was talking about princesses. And I asked my stepmom, I was like, "I thought you were not allowing that." And I can't help it. She has friends.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Now you do have a home court advantage, so you can show her all the black and white movies that you want. But eventually, she is going to learn.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Cinderella was still in color, but it's really old.
Bad. I was going to say she's going to be very confused when she steps outside.
I don't have a problem with Disney movies. Frozen in particular is just bad, and it's not like a reactionary thing. It's just not very good.
Right. I'm familiar with your takes on Disney movies lately, but I can't I can't wait until she comes home from school the first day and be like, "Are we the weird family? Are we a weird family that doesn't watch Disney movies?" Like,
I mean,
like you're the family that doesn't do candy at Halloween or something.
I mean, just look at Ben's movie taste and talking about watching movies with his dad, which is like way different from what anyone else on the podcast experienced. They are when it comes to media, I think they might be the odd dog out in Ben's family.
Well, I mean, she's at least going to get to watch like Wizard of Oz, right? You know, some good classics in there. And there's going to be fairies and witches. And oh God, Cody, I'm not sure that's the hill you want to die on. You can have that opinion, but like
Frozen's exceedingly overrated. Let's put that to bed right now.
So what you're saying is you agree with me?
I don't.
Oh, that physically hurt PG.
Well, because you said I do actually hate Frozen, but for different reasons, I think.
I mean, I still vibe to the songs when they come on. I'm not gonna lie, like
the songs aren't terrible. I think the second one had better music though.
Anytime that you're getting angry, I just want you to take all of that anger, ball it up, and then let it go.
Let it go. Didn't see that one coming.
No, it was very subtle. I hope this isn't how you game master, because otherwise,
all the time. No, I love using audio cues too. Instead of like listen checks, I check to see which players are actually paying attention. So
that's listening things in Dungeons and Dragons. I have a serious problem with the passive perceptions, and actually using that from my players well, because I really just want them to roll. Well, they do have a high passive perception. They should give it to them, right? It's hard.
Yeah.
Ugh. Also remembering that they haven't.
Yeah. No, I like to do it when they're chattering and they're off topic, and then it's like, guess what? The next encounter is starting, and you can tell because here comes the Banshee's wail. So
I do have a specific boss music. My boss battles always start with. So sometimes when they're just sitting there and they're about to get attacked, and I just put it on, and they all just stop and look at me.
Why do I hear boss music?
That's good.
Exactly. That's the meme I go with.
Right. I can't stop here. This is backcountry.
So, what else is going on with everybody?
Alex, any good potions? Much?
Yeah. How's the brewing?
A piece of my thumb. That's the most exciting thing that happened this week.
Oh shit! You ran into Amber.
Topical. I like it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny. I'm sure Justin got it. You look confused.
I am.
No, he got it. He just wants to pretend he didn't get it.
Have you not, Amber, heard about the?
Oh, geez, I got you. Yeah, I didn't keep track of their individual, things other than supposedly she's covering up all the bruises she had with a concealer that nobody can tell, because that's the point of concealer. But and then of course, like Reddit's all about Johnny Depp's reactions and how stupid the lawyer is. So that's the only thing that I know about it.
It does have some good. He does have some good reactions, and the lawyer objecting to himself was genuinely really funny.
That was peak. Oh god, you want to be a joke, don't you?
Yeah. Didn't they do that in Liar Liar? Isn't that a?
Yes. Yeah. You are on the same level as Jim Carrey doing Jim Carrey.
Right.
Congratulations.
Objection. He's your witness.
I object to yourself.
Right.
That's literally the line in the movie.
I think the best objection in that movie is where he's like, "Objection! On what grounds? It's devastating to my case."
Overruled. Yeah.
So good.
That's an underrated movie. We should do Jim Carrey movies as our next tier list.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
That would be brutal to Ben.
Who's going to be convinced that I have terrible takes? If we do,
that's your problem.
Man, that'll be a nice change of pace.
I mean, hold on. Do you really have a problem against the Truman Show?
No, the Truman Show's okay. But
okay.
It's okay. I love the one.
It would finally give me an excuse to watch a Truman Show, because I've still never bothered with it.
What?
That's surprising.
Yeah.
It took me only a couple of years ago when I finally watched it, but I understand now that why it's a classic of everyone references it. It's
don't watch Cable Guy. Not good.
Cable Guy's okay. It's got its moments, but it's not like I don't think it's one of the stronger ones.
I've heard of that one.
If we're doing Jim Carrey, are we doing the comedy ones, or are we doing all of his movies? Because
we should do all of them.
We got to get like
Christmas. So you got Eternal Sunshine and Grinch.
Eternal Sunshine, absolutely.
Here.
Number 23.
Yeah. So
we'll do 23 is weird.
Both Ace Ventura movies.
No.
Yeah. Well, we got to do the first one. The second one's got the rhino scene in it, though, right? Yes, so like that's the one that sticks with me more for some reason.
They are 1 and 1A.
Yeah.
You got to get the mask in there. You're gonna have to get.
Oh yes, great.
I really don't want to watch the mask.
Dumb and Dumber in there, which Dumb and Dumber's okay, but Dumb and Dumber's never been the top for me. I've never been enamored with it like people are.
Dumb and Dumber has funny moments, but it's on the wrong side of this movie is too stupid for me. Like if I get a headache watching the movie, it's off the list, right? But but the Mask is great. What do you got against the Mask?
It's been a really long time. It's like really, really long time. So it might be better than I remember. I just remember not being entertained. But I was like, I don't know how old I was.
I don't think I've
14?
ever seen The Mask. Honestly.
Yeah, it's been a long time for me since that one too.
Me, Myself, and Irene.
Me, Myself, and Irene's a really good movie. It's really underrated. Batman Forever. Oh, this is such classic.
Oh yeah,
right. We can't kill him. If we kill him, he won't learn nothing. Yeah.
Me, Myself, and Irene. I remember this movie for okay, so maybe story time. I watched that movie with my dad, and I was like, I don't know, 12 or something, I think, roughly. And there's this Me, Myself, and Irene. It's like he's like split personality, and he's with Irene, and he has to get her somewhere or something. And then the other personality takes over, and then he wakes up, and he's like he's peeing crooked. And then he asks, why is he peeing crooked? Because they had sex, and I was like, I was 12, so I didn't understand. So I had to ask my dad, and this is why I remember this, because my dad had to awkwardly explain to me what the joke was, because I didn't get it.
And to this day, you still don't.
From a country that has a cartoon about a prehensile penis, your dad had to explain to you a sex joke. This is
I was going to say this is prehensile penis.
Oh, that's why they had to start doing the cartoon.
Yes, because the Danish children didn't know.
There was like statistic about how many didn't know, and like they just had we had to implement it.
See what happens when you lose World War II.
I haven't seen or heard of number 23, but Series of Unfortunate Events, that's a travesty that we would have to watch for sure. So
I haven't watched
is a strong word.
I have not watched the Netflix one, even though I heard it's good.
It was so good.
I really didn't like the one with Jim Carrey.
I was going to say Bruce Almighty, I understand, but not.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Right. No, the Netflix series, the wife and I had a lot of fun with, but it's funny too because it's got one of our longest running jokes where, like, so they've got the 3 kids, obviously, right? But then it's the baby that gets into Looney Tunes style shenanigans at times, and so there's scenes where she's like falls off a truck or she falls, from a great height or something, and it was like, do you think they used a real baby? Because like the CGI is so good, and they've got her like talking, or they have like a whole singing sequence at one point. I think might have been where we kicked it off, but. Trying to remember what we were watching the other day, and I brought that boat back, and she was all serious for a minute, and then she looked at me and she's like, "Are you kidding?" But yeah, it was hilarious. So anytime it's like obviously CGI or fake, you'd be like, "Oh my god, did they use a real baby?"
Did she ask the same thing during Addams Family Values with the little baby with the mustache too, when it was flying around doing things?
Yeah.
I just looked at chat. Apparently, Cody is quite the Jim Carrey fan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's
naming movies. That doesn't mean they're going to be on the list.
Kick-Ass. It's a good movie. Was Jim Carrey in that the second one?
Apparently, he was in the second one, which I never bothered seeing, and I don't think it's going to be on this list. Assuming we actually do this.
Well, yeah, the problem is like we're going to watch Jim Carrey movies, but we're going to specifically watch a sequel of a different movie that he wasn't in, So.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I don't know if we're actually doing this. We're just shooting the shit.
Right. It's like we're going to go watch Chuck Norris movies, which means Expendables 3. Like
2.
Was it 2 he was in?
He was 2. 2 is the best of the Expendables movies, and that is a fact.
I think I found a way for you to. I'm looking at the list too. I think I found a way for you to dismiss my movie taste even more.
Thank God we needed help.
A Series of Unfortunate Events and Batman Forever are probably the best ones on this list.
You are half correct.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Series of Unfortunate Events. You like that one?
No, Batman Forever. Batman Forever is delightful. It's almost as good as Batman and Robin. Almost.
Was that the Val Kilmer one, or was that Clooney?
Batman Forever is the Val Kilmer one. Yeah.
Okay, that one was awkward, but he was delightful in it.
So he has the string of movies from like Ace Ventura, the first Ace Ventura to the Grinch movie, and then he's towards the end transitioning into like self-serious kind of movies like Truman Show, Man on the Moon, and then his little career is sort of like the very, very sensitive singer-songwriter. I'm such a broken person kind of movies like Eternal Sunshine. It's a bit.
I feel like you're also describing Adam Sandler here.
There's now if you're really masochistic, they do an Adam Sandler marathon. It's like Whiplash,
which I would also be fine with.
Oh no!
I have enjoyed some Adam Sandler movies. Like he doesn't like what is it, Little Nicky? Everybody loves that movie.
Little Nicky, he had some good strong ones there too. Waterboy.
Waterboy is really good.
What's the one with the kid that I'm forgetting?
That really doesn't narrow it down with him.
Happy Gilmore? It's pretty funny.
Yeah, Happy Gilmore is.
Because wasn't Little Nicky the one with the kid? Like
that's the one where he pretends to be the kid's dad. Why am I blanking?
Oh yeah, I don't remember the name.
Anyway, but he's got another one. Which one?
Big Daddy.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. He's got it. He's kind of like how I've never seen Truman Show with Jim Carrey. I've never seen Billy Madison for Adam Sandler, which is like the one everyone points to as the oh my god. Wedding Singer. Wedding Singers is kind of like I like Grown Ups better than I like that.
You know who's actually a really good filmmaking group. There's the Coen Brothers, I think are really good, but there's also the Lego Movie guys. What's the name? Like they did Lego Movie, they did Lego Movie 2, Spider-Verse. I think they did 21 to 22 Jump Street also. Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. Those are pretty good.
Yeah, Lord and Miller.
Lord and Miller, and then the Coen Brothers. Those are probably the two best like comedy directors out there. I saw the Apatow. I saw a couple of Apatow movies, but they're not much to look at. You can mostly just listen to them.
Yeah. Gonna have to go rewatch Coneheads because I didn't realize that Adam Sandler was in that. So
I don't think he was the main person.
Well, obviously not. But now it's like you always like seeing the like super early ones, like Samuel L. Jackson's first movies or whatever. It's just like. Obviously, he's not from France, and he's not the one eating toilet paper, so it's not as funny. But
no, he was probably just eating toilet paper for the hell of it. Either based in character or not.
Yeah, that's like literally. Okay, I guess his third movie because he was in Going Overboard, but he did like a bunch of TV and then like 2 movies. So, Airheads, gross.
Yeah. I like the Uncut Gems. That was the last thing he was in of note.
And he's going to do something else with the director. Did you see that? Like, yeah. He's like, hey, if you can get the team together and do another movie, I'm in. So
he does, yeah. He does that kind of thing though. He has like the cash in movies, and then he has like the super serious, like he's began building up his credibility again movies. I think that he's kind of back on the upswing from Netflix.
I'm sorry. So prior to Uncut Gems, what were his building up credibility movies like?
Well, like with 51st Dates. Some that has general appeal that everyone likes, and then he kind of does the Adam Sandler stuff again.
Well, he did. Well, depends on what we're talking about, because the stuff where it's like he's transitioning over into more serious acting would have been like Punch Drunk Love, Spanglish, stuff like that.
Right. Or
a weird 9/11 movie.
Funny People was another, right? Wasn't he in that?
I don't know. Yes,
that was a Judd Apatow movie, right? And it wasn't really funny. It wasn't supposed to be funny. It was about how depressing the lives of comedians are. That's really what it is. It's got Adam Sandler.
Isn't that what stand-up is for, where they tell you how depressing it is? And
yeah, isn't it? Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
I thought that was the point of stand-up comedy, but what do I know? I'm old now.
That's what it is like since Seinfeld.
Age of 33.
Right?
That's basically it. I'm on my way out.
I just want Dune Part 2 to come out.
Wait another 3 years.
It's gonna be a while. Hopefully, not as long as waiting for the second Avatar.
Jesus Christ! Why anybody wants to watch that movie is beyond me.
I don't know. I mean, the reason I bring it up is because I read yesterday that the main guy, he was like, "It's been 15 years. I might end up in a wheelchair."
Yes, I'm going to actually end up in a wheelchair. And my comment to that is, "You're Sam Worthington. How you keep getting work is beyond me to begin with."
Yeah, well, yeah, it's been 15 years. What the fuck?
Yeah, they had a couple of pictures leaked this morning or yesterday or something like that, and it's like, yes, it looks like an Avatar movie, but with more water. So apparently, that's what the movie's going to be about.
I wonder what
this time they're going to interface with the whales, or something. But it's going to be Free Willy Avatar 2.
Yeah, it's Free Willy, Star Trek 4. That's the one where they save the whales, right? Or is that 5?
Yeah.
I mean, the first one was like, it was an average movie. It was meh, but it was groundbreaking in its visuals and its technology, right? And there's just no way the second one's gonna. I don't think it will. It will not be the same kind of groundbreaking thing, and the story is probably gonna be average at best again.
Well, Avatar to me is the movie I point to every single time when people want to tell me, look how much money a movie made. That means it's good. It's like, no. No,
it wasn't,
absolutely not.
It's a fair point.
It's a fair point. A bad movie. It's just an average movie.
Right. It wasn't $1 billion movie, that's for sure. Like, that's the thing that I didn't understand at the time either. I thought it was perfectly good sci-fi. And certainly if you're familiar with any children's shows, you knew exactly what the story was riffing on. So it's not like it was wildly original or anything like that, but for some reason it really got people, so they spent $1 billion.
It was a very successful marketing campaign.
Is that
it had all the right? I mean, probably it was such a long time ago. I don't really remember how it was being talked about at the time, but for it to have made so much of a spectacle for everyone for that much money that quickly, like it certainly had to have been marketed correctly. It had the PR.
And between the 3D and the IMAX bumping up the ticket prices, which is what a lot of people went to see it in, because you're like, you have to experience it in this way, sitting in a dome. It's like, what? No, I don't.
Right. Yeah, followed immediately after by Beowulf, which, kind of showed the flaw in the technology.
I mean, I like genuine IMAX, like when I've been able to go to a big ass planetarium size screen for a movie. Right. Great. Every movie's a lot better in that. Every movie, even the shitty ones. Well, no, the shitty ones are even worse in that format, but still.
Yep.
Everything's just boom, enhanced.
See, Cody gets it. Ferngully in space. So yeah. No, I mean, I used to go see all the Marvel movies, the first, most of the first decade or whatever in IMAX. So, but yeah, they're not nearly as prevalent as they were when it was the new hot thing, right? So it's just like,
well, no, because it's too expensive, and what you get out of it is just, especially now, because like I said, there's a difference between going to an actual IMAX theater, but the theater by me has what they call an IMAX section, and it's not. I've been to genuine IMAXs. It's not the same thing. So
right.
They've taken the lazy route.
Right.
And 3D movie, I hate 3D shit. I've always hated 3D. It gives me more of a headache than anything. It's like, wow, this is not pleasant to me.
Years since I've seen a 3D one, but I think I'm doing it with Age of Madness, which is coming in 3D. Not Age of Madness. It's Multiverse of Madness. That's what I was thinking.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the hell
are you going to do that to yourself?
Age of Madness. So
that's what it's going to be, is the Age of Madness.
Well, because what he's going to do is he's going to take some of that, government issued LSD before he goes into the Multiverse of Madness.
I forget he gets the cool drugs.
He's going to be over there like, stop the ride! I want to get off. So,
it might have been Hercules, like the Disney movie.
I don't know. Remember,
it's been a very long time.
I don't think I've ever been in an IMAX theater, so therefore it's probably irrelevant.
It was something in the 90s. I know that much.
I think my first one was one of the Star Wars movies, but I don't remember which one. I don't remember if it was one of the new ones when the prequels were coming out, or if it was a re-release that they just did in IMAX.
I'm pretty sure I did see Phantom Menace, but I don't think it was the first one I ever saw in IMAX.
No,
as far as movies
it wouldn't
go.
have been for me.
It was either Phantom Menace or it was a re-release of some of the old ones. I just remember if my uncle was there, that kind of puts a certain timeline of I must have been at that age for that. Yeah. I remember it being obnoxiously loud even as a kid.
Well, I mean, it's like when you go to the planetarium as a kid, you just kind of have to lean back in the whole seat to absorb it all.
Yeah.
I mean, IMAX, you probably have to lean back halfway, but still, same general principle. It's big. But when it's a good movie and you're enjoying yourself, and you're a kid, it's like, great. Right. I'll go see an IMAX movie again now.
Yeah, I'm going through like Wikipedia's list, and I think like for the first 30 years, it's all like museums and
yeah, it would be all the documentary stuff.
Yeah,
I'm sure somebody saw March of the Penguins in IMAX at some point in life.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find where it like started to hit like general release or something. So,
well, I guess that also I mean, because as far as I know, and this could have changed recently, but the IMAX theater that I went to was out on Long Island. Still there as far as I know, but it was a dedicated, that's what the complex was. It was IMAX theater, and maybe they had one or two other normal theaters in it, but
yeah, didn't remember Dark Knight was IMAX, but it might have been that one, yeah. Wikipedia is like way too specific categorizations. Like these are the truly IMAX movies, and then these ones were partially filmed with IMAX. So.
So basically, there's actually you see that on the new IMAX stuff on Disney Plus, right? The ones that are like partially, it's like you can see it if you notice. It's like it switches from like this to like full aspect ratio of your TV on the big moments, and then it goes back, and then because like I think Endgame. And maybe Infinity War are the only ones that are IMAX all the way through. All the other ones only have like partial IMAX thing. That's the difference, I believe. Which is like the cool scenes.
What a nerd!
Excuse me?
You heard
him.
Oh, we were all nerds. God damn.
Sorry, I just got a response. So I've got two friends in the UK. So while I'm watching Four Lions, I was like, hey, is this movie like funny to British people? Because, like British humor is notorious.
No, you enjoy Monty Python. You can enjoy British humor.
Right. But that's the part that I was confused about. It's like, I like British humor. There's a lot of funny British movies, but I'm not sure this is one of them. And then they're like, it's on this dude's like 1001 movies you need to see before you die. And I'm like, is it like 999? Because I'm like, I can come up with other movies. So, but he's like, yeah, I haven't seen it, but yes, it is some stereotypically British humor. It's some kind of jokey terrorist thing, right? Like, yes.
That reminds me, for some reason I was stupid and I clicked on an article, I think it was yesterday, where it said the 101 greatest sequels ever made. And so like Terminator 2 was listed as 34, Empire Strikes Back was listed as 15, and I was like, no, I'm not reading this. What are you doing to me? What are you doing to me?
So I mean, I could see, Empire Strikes Back should be
in the top 10 at least.
Okay.
That's interesting because, well, Aliens and Terminator 2 are like what told Hollywood you could still make sequels, right? Like that's when people are like, those movies came out when a sequel was basically like direct to video, is what I mean, right? Like nobody fucking watches sequels usually, like during, you know, the 80s and 90s and whatever. So Star Wars, you know, kind of its own thing. Aliens, Terminator, like those were like those were even more important successes because they were sequels. So I'm just like, what the hell rated higher than Terminator?
No, I remember this now because Babe in the Pig City was listed as 10th ahead of both of those things.
No, yeah.
Blade
I fucking hate people.
Blade 2 is listed as 7th. Aliens is 5.
2.
Creed is listed as 4. The One Through the Olive Trees, which I assume only Ben has seen, even though it was only made in 1994. The Godfather Part 2 was number 2, and then Mad Max Fury Road. That was number 1.
Mad Max, like the new one.
Yeah, 2015.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I mean,
it's not number 1, how this list but goes. It's fine. You know, yeah.
That's what this list is.
See, the problem with the internet is that everyone can say some dumb shit and get put on a website or a podcast or anything like that.
Or a few dollars more was 25th. It's like, what are you doing here?
Yep. I know. What a bunch of just anybody has an opinion in a show these days, right? So, yeah.
Opinions
Look, we're really
from mine.
We're really good at our one subject matter expert. Outside of that, it starts to fray a little bit. So some of you guys don't really know what comedy is and, you know, what a good movie looks like.
At least when you guys have bad opinions, I can tell you that. But these people, they disable comments on their articles and stuff, so you can't even tell how much of an idiot they are.
Well, because they already know. Look, man, you think I didn't get out of bed this morning knowing that I was going to make the world's shittiest sequel list? Come on now. That's why I disable comments. Oh, man.
Oh, terrible.
Tell me Venom 2 was like in the top 10, and then I'll tell you that it was written by...
Right?
You know?
I haven't even watched it. It doesn't seem that good. The first one was meh.
I
never even bothered with the first one either.
Yeah, I want to say we rented the first one, but I couldn't tell you a damn thing about it. So,
well, something I've been wondering actually, does Sony have like a specific firm they work with for their like effects in movies, and why is it so bad? Like, I feel like the Venom, the special effects are way below what Marvel does, for example, to compare another superhero movie thing.
Yeah, but even Marvel of late, I mean, from like Black Panther onward, there's a lot of weird CGI in their stuff.
And some of the CGI has looked way more unbelievable than before. Some have looked good, like, you know, the Professor Hulk, he looks amazing.
I mean, I would have said really Thanos, but yes,
Thanos looks really good.
I suppose Professor Hulk is a way to go.
Iron Man has gone downhill significantly.
Well, Iron Man always looked better when it was more whatever. I mean, I understand why
Spider-Man
would scale up, so he's not wearing a physical prop anymore, but still.
Right.
Spider-Man went down. Like the Iron Spider suit does not look that believable. I mean, it's decent, but it doesn't look. And the new suit that they showed at the end of the movie, of the newest one, without spoiling anything, looks really bad, I think.
It's kind of color saturated, I think, is the con. Maybe. I don't know. I didn't care, but I can understand why. It's very vivid.
Oh, God, Cody. You don't want to know the answer to that question. So,
what's Cody asking?
How many Fast and Furious sequels did they make?
Oh,
see,
they go on the list.
There's 11. There's 2 spin-offs. So there's Fast and the Fast and the Furious.
Oh, good. We found Ben's like specialty.
Too Fast, Too Furious. Then there's Fast. I think it's the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. Then there's Fast and Furious. Then there's Fast 5. Then there's
I cannot tell you how little I care.
Furious
about.
7.
Yep.
The Fate of the Furious.
Wait until we get to Fast X.
Well, there's
spin-off now, right?
Yeah, there's a Hobbs and Shaw spin-off. And then I think is Fast 9 out yet? I didn't see that
Fast
one.
9 happened. That's where they go to space.
Did they really?
Yes, they do.
I gotta see it.
It's so good. I haven't watched that yet.
Ludacris and Tyrese Gibson get shot into space in a car.
Now that's just the parlor trick. The fun thing to do is rank them. The best one is by far Fast Five. By far.
I think
what do you mean? Did you say Tokyo Drift and didn't say it?
I said Tokyo Drift. Yeah, the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift is number 3.
Yeah, that's the best movie.
Was it 3?
No,
I thought that was like the
Tokyo
second
Drift
one.
was the third one.
So.
Yeah,
Okay,
Tokyo Drift's the third one. Yeah,
settle down. It came out 20 fucking years ago, and that's when they jumped the shark. So everything after that is garbage. I don't care what you say.
Oh, come on! No. It's like I will agree. It's like a completely different franchise after the.
I don't understand your taste in movies, Ben. How can you go
Thank you.
You go on and on
it's
about
very
this wasn't
spectrum.
cinema and that wasn't good and this was really bad. But oh my god, the Fast and Furious movies.
Oh man, they're so good. They're so good.
I enjoy.
I mean, I agree with in a way. I agree with Ben. I really like them, but they're not objectively good movies.
You like bad
movies. Oh no, they're terrible.
Fine.
They're delightful.
No.
She's trying to reconcile the logic, not the individual
there
movies.
Are 2 ways to value. There's whether you like it and there's whether it's good. I would say that it's possible to say I like those movies. I think it's also possible to say that based on what those movies are trying to do, those movies succeed.
To tell a story about
I am going to remember you saying this and throw it back in your face when you go back at as like this movie was bad. It didn't do this thing that I like because it wasn't in black and white. And who
That's
no,
why
I never said a movie is better for read black and white. You guys said this whole thing about movies are black and white.
You have said disparaging things of modern movies and then you should go watch The Killing because and all of these movies that you list of like this was a really good one and the ones that you get so excited about they're all in the 40s and black and white.
I like black and white movies. I like
there's been one you've
Wonderful
watched
Life.
in the 40s. One. The Killing was much later.
I've never heard of this movie.
You might have watched it.
But considering that I've only ever asked, hey, you guys should really watch this movie from literal Alfred Hitchcock or Stanley Kubrick. I'm not even getting into the screwball comedies. Those are the all-time great directors.
Yes, but not everything that they touched was gold. They still made shit movies sometimes. So
that's I can tell you which ones those are, but I'm not going to ask you to watch a bad movie.
I don't believe that's true.
Really?
Every person on here is asking me to watch a bad
clip
movie.
that for me. Like, let's make sure we've got that to play back all the time. How about you're not going to ask us to watch a movie you didn't enjoy? Is probably the safe turn of phrase there, but here's one. Can you explain to me in any succinct way why Fast and the Furious does it for you, but the Marvel movies are shit? So
I enjoyed the Marvel movies for a while. I enjoyed the Marvel movies for a while, but the Fast and the Furious has is quite a bit more heartfelt and earnest, I think, than the Marvel movies, which seem a lot more.
Because it's about family.
Yeah. You know what? It really kind of is. There's always. I mean, it's sort of silly, but it grounds the movies in this kind of earnestness. Characters act like they like each other.
Except for
it's a really dumb plot.
And they all become friends. Whoever the villain was. Whoever the villain was of the previous movie becomes a friend in the next.
At one point in Fast 6 or Fast 7, like Dominic Toretto like leaps off a moving car, changes direction mid jump, and lands across the bridge at 80 miles. It's like the apotheosis of this guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I just want to interject here. That's the kind of shit me and Justin were like, hell yeah, that's cool. And usually you guys like poo poo on.
No. It's
tell me again how realistic the Iron Man suit is when a dude like jumped in midair and then changed direction. And I know I'm picking on Andreas a little bit, but that's the thing. It's like you guys will come out here with like this isn't funny or that's not realistic or I just generally don't enjoy this movie, and then you'll be like, but dude, in this one movie like about cars, racing cars.
It's not the racing cars that I like. It's not the booty shots that I don't watch a movie for the booty shots. It's gross.
They're booty shots
in Fast and Furious.
There's always
that one or two obligatory like booty shot things.
You would
like
think
Ocean's
Joss Whedon
12
wrote
with
it.
cars and chicks. Like, what do you?
I mean, for me, it's all about the bromance and the family and the cool action. I think it does that for me.
And it's largely not CGI too.
Really?
So
I don't know about that anymore.
Well, that's true. That's fair enough. Fair enough. There. Fair enough.
I mean, they do get
it
shot
used to be a
into
pillar of the
space.
series. They used to be a pillar of the series. Well, like the Fast and the Furious spin-off, like Hobbs and Shaw.
So.
It's this ridiculous, charismatic, competitive thing between the two leads, and it ends with this like lo-fi Samoan family beatdown, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't know. I think
and that's after he held a helicopter back with his
as you've seen. So I think there's an earnestness there in the Fast and Furious franchise that the Marvel movies seem a little bit more committee written.
Oh, he is. They call him Captain America in the series at some point.
There's a familiar pattern. I like the Marvel movies. Guardians of the Galaxy was great, but once they cracked the formula, it became, you could kind of predict the beats of when the humor would hit.
How dare they? I mean, doing something that people enjoy. I don't even like them, but like, how dare they do something that millions and millions of people enjoy?
Well, it's fine that people enjoy it, but I've stopped enjoying it.
People criticize Tchaikovsky for being too common and like doing the thing that people enjoy instead of the artistic thing. Like you critic people.
I'm not saying it has to be artistic for the sake of art, but
that is an odd segue. And from all the people for that to come from.
The difference is between when it's formulaic versus when it's not. Like I don't think Hot Fuzz is formulaic. It's a one of a kind.
I haven't watched it yet.
Hot Fuzz is brilliant. Yeah. It's very well done.
I'm mostly just here to appreciate her face because I make that face just about weekly now, and I've never seen it on her face, not like this anyway. Like her brain has left the planet. She just doesn't even know what to do anymore. But I'm not sure Hot Fuzz is its own unique thing because there are definitely themes that, like the whole small town being taken over by organizations and all of that shit. Like, I mean, hell, even if you could easily argue like Puppet Masters, it's a similar kind of story. There doesn't have to be an actual alien like taking these people over, but Children of the Corn, Puppet Masters, like there's going to be themes of like
the World's End,
small town.
The other one.
Well, World's End came after, right? So Hot Fuzz didn't take after that one, but
I like the World's End.
I don't know.
The World's End's underrated.
I mean, we could go with the old tire platitude of like, there's nothing original under the sun, but I don't necessarily agree with that either. But I'm just saying, like, shit, hell, here's a terrible movie to get your hackles up about. The Wicker Man is a great example of like, what Hot Fuzz could have almost turned into, except that they had shotguns. So that's
we're talking about the Nicolas Cage one, right?
Well, you can assume that, but I'll go even further back to the Christopher Lee one. So that should be on everybody's watch list.
One of these two movies had one of their protagonists running around in a bear suit, punching people, and then screaming "Not the bees," and that is the superior person.
Yeah, one of these is meme-worthy, and the other one's just actually terrible. But yeah.
Listen, that's the reason that everyone still likes the prequels and hates the sequels, even though they're both terrible, is because the meme worthiness of the prequels.
Okay. It does give it a certain longevity.
It does.
I think I finally reconciled my hate of the prequels because I just consider them their own story. And as their own story, they're not terrible, but when you try to hook on, the originals, it doesn't fit. And
another series with questionable CGI.
Yep.
No,
but I mean, they were inventing CGI practically, like, this is one of those like
Jurassic Park has CGI that's better than some of the prequel stuff.
I understand Jurassic Park also has a ton of practical effects for when it matters, but it's Star Wars. I mean, so first of all, for the originals, right, the technology didn't exist, but then that's why it theoretically took so long for the prequels to come out, is that they were finally like, that's why Yoda is so terrible, right? Is because that was the first example. They made him practical in Phantom Menace, I think, and then was the next one that he was CGI, right? And it was just like,
because they wanted to have him flipping around and nobody wanted to flip a puppet.
Bad decision.
Right. So, yeah. I see that scene I'm okay with, but there's a lot of like the personal scenes that are less good, and then the third one is pretty good, I think. So as far as the CGI goes, but yeah.
No, generally.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as it's not the big wide shots, it's and I don't mean the space battle, because the space battle looks pretty good. I mean, like when they're walking around, like that scene in Attack of the Clones where it's Obi-Wan, Mace, and Yoda just talking in the Jedi Temple, and the whole thing.
That scene is terrible, right? Yeah, but flipping it, like him being on the ship with the clone troopers or the lightsaber battle, I don't think are that bad. Like they don't pull me out of the movie like the scene with him in the temple does. So,
no, I think all the lightsaber battles are pretty good. I mean, but that's also partly because it's they're fighting each other with these stick things that they overlay it onto.
I'm talking about Count Dooku's duel though, specifically where it's Yoda and him.
That's a little
there's some issues with motion blurring maybe, but
yeah,
but like he shows up and he gives the dirty look, and it's like, oh, it's about to get on. Like I'm not thinking about terrible CGI in that moment, so I'm thinking Dooku's going to get his ass kicked. So
no, the him and Sidious fight is better as far as the effects go.
Yeah, for sure. There we go. We made it. We got to Star Wars. It always comes back to Star Wars.
Yep.
I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I gotta just.
You were supposed to leave 6 minutes ago. Why are you still here?
Yeah,
I'm doing the thing at the same time right now.
Terrible pride.
I had one of those last night. That was funny. So, we had. See ya. Take care.
I'll let you guys wrap up the show.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Yep.
Wrap up. Oh no, we're done. I'm done.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I finished. Yeah. We started with shit I don't care about, and we went back to shit I don't care about. Excellent book.
Yeah, but we had that Fast and the Furious intercession there at the
that was good. Man, Fast and Furious. There we go.
I think I'm gonna go watch Fast.
I'm not taking shit from you about movie tastes ever again. That's for sure.
I don't know why you ever did. Like
because you keep talking about why this movie that he likes is bad. You do it all the time.
I try to focus on the positive, and I say, and I mentioned, if you look back at it's usually there's this one aspect that I wasn't really sold on that didn't really land for me. I mean, I don't really see it. Like I've tried in the past to be very milquetoast on negative takes. I think emphasizing
how'd that work out for you?
Yeah, apparently even that's too much.
I mean, I think it's hilarious because I'm a lot more pessimistic.
I think you're the one.
EG's the misanthrope.
It's the worst decision. Either don't have hot takes or go all the way with it. Why would you be milquetoast?
I don't know.
You got to get into it.
I want to tell the truth.
The truth is subjective.
Well,
just remember what they say, whether it's 1 mile or 1 second. So
it doesn't matter if you win by.
If truth is objective, if truth is only subjective, then go kick a rock till it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Al Ghazali had a great thing. He who believes that. He who disagrees with the law of non-contradiction should be beaten until he agrees that to be beaten is not the same as not to be beaten, and burned with fire until he agrees that to be burned with fire is not the same as. No, this is literally Al Ghazali, right? Isn't Al Ghazali one of these Muslim philosophers?
He's a friend of Tchaikovsky. You would know that if you pay attention, director.
Okay. All right. Is
Wait,
there
I
any
wasn't paying attention. Why do you not have a thumb anymore?
I was chopping onions in the stupidest way possible, and I almost chopped off a section of my thumb. I think it'll reattach, though.
You think? What do you pick?
I think so. Oh, I have. I mean, changed the bandage and stuff, and it has a good color, so I'm hopeful.
Oh, okay. So you attached it yourself. Like I was like, shouldn't you be at like an Instacare getting stitches?
Yeah, she's trying to Resident Evil this shit where something gets cut off and she's just holding it until it gets reattached.
So it didn't go all the way through.
Just so we're clear, Marvel's the ridiculous one.
Wow.
Like,
no, the director is clearly the ridiculous one in this scenario.
Yeah, it might reattach, but it's gonna be lumpy. Do you want to have a lumpy thumb? Like They're gonna be like, there she goes. She's the one that did it. You can tell because of the lumpy thumb.
When it happened, I also didn't have a car for a few days, and so I was kind of stranded at home. It's like, I'm not calling an ambulance. No fucking way. I can't drive myself to a hospital. And then I realized later, like, there's a urgent care within walking distance, but by that point it had stopped bleeding. So
because I ran out of blood.
Right.
I seem to be clotting rather well, actually.
I'm glad your medical opinion has told you all of these things.
Yeah, right.
I'm still alive. It has a good color. It's not.
Oh, okay, good.
It's not rotting.
I'm still alive.
And I don't.
If I'm still alive, was the benchmark for people, then forget it.
It's a good one to have. It's an important one.
It's a subjective one, and it's one that could easily change the next time you get up.
That is true, but it is
when
still
your
a good
thumb
benchmark
explodes.
to have. All right.
See, Ben, this is the quote you should have gone with.
What?
Do not allow your heart to take pleasure with the praises of people, nor be saddened by their condemnation. See, so brave. So some of his other quotes just don't make any sense to me.
Also Tchaikovsky.
Oh, Tchaikovsky.
I
was on the Tchaikovsky. No, if there's one quote that I always come back to, it's that tradition is not the worship of ashes, but the preservation of fire. Something like that. For enigmatic,
it's just love preserving. That sounds like the same thing to me, but I don't know. So,
are we doing philosophy now, or can we go home?
Philosophy's good.
Oh wait, I am home.
We're doing the comedy thing in 2 weeks, right?
I think so, right? So now we have to start doing our homework of watching movies that we haven't seen.
We did. Don't lump me in with you people, lumpy thumb.
Yeah, he's not going to do his homework anyway. So, what do you mean, you people? But
what do you mean, you people?